Hey guys, how are you? Book review. Very interesting book. One of my favorite book. And this is something which I will say if you are a business person or if you are a management student, this is a must read. Okay. I want to go straight into the book because this is something which I really like in this book. The book is very straightforward in its title. It is called Getting Things Done. The art of stress-free productivity. David Allen is the author. Very famous book. If you're in business and if you have the habit of reading management books, obviously you would have already read this book. But it is my pleasure and honor that I want this book to be in my channel, and I want to also say that I have reviewed this particular book because this has directly contributed to my business in a very vast and deep way. I'm actually reading the second edition. Okay. Uh, there are previous editions, and there may be the further future editions also. Okay. So the current edition, what I'm actually reading is the second edition. Okay. So I'm again saying the book is called Getting Things Done: The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. Okay. The author name is David Allen. It is Piarkis publication. Okay. It's a UK it's a UK publisher. Hachette India is marketing this book in India. Going into the book, it is divided into three parts logically. Okay, the first part is you know art of getting things done. Introduction of the basics. Okay, it says about the new practice or the new reality, how you have to approach the activity. I will use a word called activity, but in the book it specifically calls a situation, project a project, and then other task as a task. But for generalization, I'm going to use a word called activity. Okay. So it also gives you a 5 steps mastering workflow, and this workflow can be adopted almost to all the activities across board. Sometimes it can even be applied to the personal activities also. And the second part is going deep into it. The concepts is being listed in the first part. In the second part, it gives you methods how to practice those things, and it is called as practicing stress-free productivity. Okay, whether it starts with time, it starts with controlling, it starts with and then it moves forward and setting up how to create the buckets is basically classification, segmentation, or clustering, however that you want to call it. The operational management people will call it differently, marketing people will call it differently, the sales people will call it completely differently. So, and then once you have clustered, how you have to apply all these GTD methods. The GTD is basically the name which David Allen has coined. It's called Getting Things Done. GTD has now evolved as a very famous and successful framework itself. Okay, it's a very serious subject book, and if you're actually expecting it to be a very light travel kind of a reading, this is not the book. If you are very serious and if you are looking for some kind of books which can teach you few pointers which you can apply to your business or work or even to your study patterns, this is a must read. Okay, and now goes to part number 3. This is a part which I really like, because it actually enunciates how this particular principle, what you have first learnt in part 1, applied in part 2, has actually created the difference. Okay. See, main thing is you need to understand how to know whether what you have done has been done for the betterment of the activity. If you're doing something and if it is actually not contributing in the positive way, it is better you need not do that. So how will you know that the positivity or the betterment has actually come? And that's where the part 3 actually comes with power of capturing the habit, the power of next action, and power of outcome focusing. One of my favorite chapters, outcome for, and this is the one which I would rate it as my most favorite. The GTD, that is the Getting Things Done framework, and the cognitive side. I will give you a very small referral also here and there, like inside the book, which I really like it. Okay, and this book actually doesn't end. Just like how any Kaizen process actually happens, this book doesn't end. This is actually a ongoing learning which we have to keep adopting, experience it, take the learning out, enhance the framework, and then keep adopting. So it is almost like continuous learning. Okay, so this is a very interesting book, and I would like to read few of the things which I have marked as something which is very very interesting to do, and I will straight go into the place which I said like is my favorite, the GTD and the cognitive side. Okay, I normally coming from a marketing and sales background and branding background, we generally work based on the cognition and the psychology of the end receiver. We will work from the deep backward point of view. We will understand what the customer is expecting, and then we reverse work it into the branding communication. Okay, so being that as my specialty, I really like this particular segment of it. Okay, I will give you a brief of what this segment actually deals with, and then you will know that how serious is this book. The first thing is the research of this particular framework actually has a lot of deeper meaning from positive psychology. In marketing term, it is also called as reinforcement. If you are creating a marketing or advertising material, the reinforcement is extremely important. It can be positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, neutral reinforcement, negative and then positive reinforcement. There are n number of variants. Okay, the subject is not towards that. Maybe I will give you a master class on reinforcement, specially for students. Okay, the second thing. Okay, the first is the positive psychology. The second is the distributed cognition, the value of an external mind. Okay, interesting, very, very deep, yet very interesting topic. The third is reliving the cognitive load of incompletion. Okay, flow theory. Flow theory is a very big concept by itself. It's a very simple concept, but it's a very, vast concept. I would love to put a video on flow theory alone someday. Definitely, I'll do it. Self leadership theory, that is also part of this. And one of the things which I really like about this is the fragmented, uh, in-depth analysis of what is called a psychological capital. It's called psycap. So if you're managing a complex project, okay, or if you're managing large number of people, it can be a simple project, but it is a voluminous project where when I say volume, it involves a lot of people. So by the nature of it, because a lot of people are involved, a lot of task has to be bucketed, a lot of task has to be assigned, a lot of task has to be taken and then completed. See, there is a very simple GTD framework which actually everybody knows. If you talk to somebody who has already read this book, they will actually say in very simple terms, saying that do it, delegate it, defer it, drop it, and that is the actual rule is that do whatever that you want to do. Whatever is there in your bucket, make sure that it is properly handled, and it is handled as fast as possible, as meticulously as possible, as dedicatedly as possible, and then move it to different bucket. It can be your own bucket or it can be somebody's bucket. So GTD, what it says, either you do it or delegate it or defer it. or drop it. Is it? This is very simple because I'm just giving the overall aspect of it. But the book actually carries how you should progress and allot each of it. This is a fantastic book, and for all management students, for all startup entrepreneurs, for all business people, or even for employees, I strongly recommend that you buy this book. It's available in almost every e-commerce shop. Very famous book. David Allen is a celebrated author. Okay, and if you have already read this book, share me a couple of experiences that you have applied based on reading this book and how successful it has come. Let's have an offline discussion also. I hope this book review sessions of business talk with Satish Sampath is taking you to the next level journey on guided reading. I hope this particular video gave you some kind of an information and it was very useful for you. I will meet you in my next video. Until then, take care. Thank you very much.